You know, it's funny. We all spend so much time thinking about being happy, kind of chasing that feeling.
Hmm.
But have you ever wondered if maybe the way we're going about it might be a little off? Like we're following a map that doesn't quite lead where we expect?
That's a really great point. It's almost this universal quest, isn't it? This pursuit
Mhm.
of happiness. But yeah, the directions we get are often pretty vague or maybe just incomplete.
Yeah.
So today we're taking a deep dive into, well, what happiness actually means, maybe some of the surprising ways people try to find it, and whether that whole act of pursuing it can sometimes backfire,
Yeah.
lead us further away.
Exactly. Yeah. We've been looking over a really interesting discussion from the EDP English Dialogue podcast on YouTube, their video, Pursuit of Happiness.
That's the one?
They had some really, really thought-provoking stuff in there, and we wanted to kind of unpack those insights with you all.
Sounds good.
So let's just jump in. What is happiness anyway? It feels so personal, you know?
Totally subjective.
Right. Like what makes one person feel like amazing might be totally different for someone else. Maybe it's, I don't know, financial security. Maybe it's having loved ones close,
Or hitting a goal, yeah.
hitting a goal you've worked for, or even just that quiet feeling of like contentment, just being okay.
Absolutely. It is deeply subjective.
Getting,
And that's where psychology actually offers some helpful ways to think about it, some frameworks.
okay.
The source we looked at, EDP, they highlighted two main types, broadly speaking,
Yeah.
hedonic and eudaimonic happiness.
Okay. Hedonic and eudaimonic.
Okay.
Those sound pretty academic. Break them down for us.
Sure. So think of hedonic happiness as like the pleasure stuff, the
Yeah.
enjoyment, that immediate buzz you get.
Uh,
It's eating your favorite food or going on an amazing vacation or, the excitement of getting a new phone or something. It's really tied to that instant gratification.
Right. Okay. That makes total sense. It's the kind of happiness you can almost like feel physically, that first sip of really good coffee in the morning, maybe.
Exactly like that. Yep. Now, eudaimonic, that's a bit deeper. It's more about having a sense of purpose, meaning, fulfillment in life.
Okay. Purpose and meaning.
Yeah. Think about like achieving a really tough goal that actually meant something to you, or maybe helping someone out in a significant way.
Ah, okay.
It's connected to that longer-term satisfaction, that feeling that your life has, significance. And interestingly, research often shows that while those hedonic pleasures give you a boost,
Yeah.
if you don't have that eudaimonic fulfillment,
Yeah.
you can actually feel pretty empty, even if you have lots of nice things or experiences.
So one's like the sparkler, quick and bright, and the other's more like the warm fireplace, that slow burn of meaning.
That's a great way to put it.
And the source, EDP, they kind of touched on needing both, right? For like a well-rounded happiness. You can't just live on cake alone, so to speak.
Exactly. They suggested that a healthy balance is really crucial for overall well-being.
Mm.
Just chasing those fleeting pleasures, that hedonic stuff, can leave you feeling pretty unfulfilled down the line.
Right.
Which brings up a really fascinating question they posed.
Mm-hmm.
Does actively trying to be happy, pursuing it, actually work?
Yeah.
Or could it create more pressure, maybe even make things worse?
That is a head scratcher, isn't it? The whole pursuit of happiness, the word itself almost suggests it's this thing out there that we're constantly chasing, but maybe never quite catching.
That's sort of the heart of the paradox they talked about.
Yeah.
The source brought up this idea that when we frame happiness as this, like, distant goal,
Yeah.
something we'll get once we tick all the boxes, the perfect job, the right relationship, enough money,
Uh-huh.
we can actually end up creating more frustration right now, in the present, because we're always looking ahead instead of, appreciating what's here.
It's like setting these impossible conditions for happiness and then feeling like a failure until we meet them, even if actually our lives are pretty decent already.
Precisely, yeah. And this ties into a concept I mentioned, which I found really interesting, the hedonic treadmill.
The hedonic treadmill. Okay.
It's this psychological idea that we humans adapt incredibly quickly to new good things, new achievements, new possessions.
Ah, right. Like the new car excitement wears off.
Exactly. That initial buzz fades, and then we're kind of back where we started, wanting the next thing, the next experience, just to get that feeling back. It's like we keep running fast on the treadmill, but basically stay in the same place happiness-wise long term.
So just focusing on those external milestones, the money, the status, it might not be the magic bullet for lasting happiness. It's like we might be looking in the wrong place.
Exactly right. And this really highlights that crucial difference between where we source our happiness. Is it internal or is it external?
Okay.
What really stood out from the EDP discussion was this strong emphasis on cultivating internal happiness as the more, well, sustainable path.
Okay, so what does internal happiness really look like? Are we talking about things like self-acceptance, being okay with yourself,
That's a big part of it, yeah. Self-acceptance, gratitude for what you have.
gratitude, right?
See, if our happiness depends too much on external stuff like wealth or
Mhm.
status or what other people think, or even just material things, it's kind of fragile, isn't it?
Because those things can change.
Exactly. They can
Yeah.
change, they can be taken away, but internal happiness, the kind that's rooted more in our mindset, our resilience, how we see things, our ability to appreciate the small stuff,
Hmm.
that's much more stable.
Hmm.
The source used a powerful illustration. You sometimes see people who have incredible wealth but seem deeply unhappy.
Yeah, you hear those
And then
stories.
you see others who have very little, materially speaking, but find real, genuine contentment in their everyday lives.
That really makes you stop and think. It's not just about what you have, it's about your perspective on it, your perception.
Absolutely. Perception is huge.
Mm.
And this is where practices like mindfulness come in,
Okay, mindfulness.
really focusing on the present moment. And things like keeping a gratitude journal. These aren't just like trendy wellness fads.
Hmm.
The source presented them as actual tools we can use to actively cultivate that internal happiness. By consciously shifting our attention away from chasing the future or dwelling on the past and focusing on what we have and what's happening right now.
Like really tasting your coffee instead of just gulping it down while thinking about your emails.
Exactly that.
Hmm.
Finding joy in those little things, the everyday moments we often just rush past or take for granted. That feels like a much more, I don't know, achievable way to think about happiness.
It does. Now, another really key thing that came up strongly in the source was relationships, social connection. That sounded like a massive piece of the happiness puzzle.
Oh, absolutely huge. The source really emphasized how consistent the research is on this. Strong social connections are one of the biggest predictors of happiness, health, even longevity.
Wow.
And it just makes sense, doesn't it? We're
Yeah.
social creatures. Humans are fundamentally wired for connection. We thrive on those bonds, family, friends, community.
Yeah, just knowing you've got people in your corner you can trust, rely on, that makes such a difference to how you feel day to day.
Totally. And the source made a really crucial point, too, about the quality of those relationships. It's not just about the sheer number of friends you list on social media.
Right. Quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about having, hundreds of superficial online contacts. It's about nurturing those deeper, meaningful connections. The people you can actually be vulnerable with, who offer real support, who you feel genuinely connected to, even just one or two close, trusted friends can make a profound difference.
Which is such a good reminder, especially now in our super digital world. It's so easy to feel connected online, clicking like and stuff.
Yeah.
But it often doesn't provide that same emotional nourishment as a real conversation or spending actual time with someone.
Right. That's a critical distinction they made.
Yeah.
While sure, digital tools can help us stay in touch across distances, actively investing real time and energy in those deeper, maybe face-to-face relationships is just vital for genuine happiness and that feeling of belonging.
Okay, so we've got internal happiness, like mindset and gratitude. We've got the power of connection with others. What about having a sense of purpose? That also came up in the EDP discussion.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And this ties back very strongly to that idea of eudaimonic happiness we talked about earlier, that sense of meaning.
Right.
When we feel like we have a purpose, it gives us motivation, right? A reason to get up in the morning. It also provides resilience, something to hold on to when things get tough. It's that feeling that your life matters, that you're contributing to something, maybe something bigger than just yourself.
It's like having a why, a
Yeah.
direction, something that gives life meaning beyond just the daily grind.
Exactly, a guiding star, as you said earlier. And the source was clear that this purpose doesn't have to be some, grand earth-shattering mission.
Oh, good. Huge.
No, absolutely not. It can be much simpler. It could be about being a really supportive parent or volunteering for a cause you care about locally or pursuing a creative passion or even just focusing on being a good friend, a reliable neighbor.
So it's personal.
Totally personal. The key is that it's something that gives your life significance, aligns with your values, however big or small it might seem from the outside.
And when you have that sense of purpose, it sounds like it leads to a really deep kind of fulfillment, something more lasting than just chasing those quick pleasure hits.
Precisely. It's about building a life that feels meaningful from the inside out, rather than just constantly seeking that next dopamine rush, that next hedonic fix.
Makes sense.
Now, the source we looked at, EDP, also offered some really practical actionable things. Steps that you, listening now, could actually take to maybe nudge your own happiness levels up a bit.
Oh, fantastic. Actionable tips are always good. Let's get into those. What did the EDP folks suggest?
Okay, first up, they really highlighted practicing gratitude. Consciously taking a few moments each day, maybe writing it down, maybe just thinking it about things you're genuinely thankful for, it really can shift your focus.
Yeah, it's so easy to get bogged down in what's wrong, isn't it? But deliberately looking for the good stuff, that can really change your whole outlook. What else?
Spending time in nature. The source mentioned research showing that even short bursts of time outdoors can have a pretty significant and almost immediate mood-boosting effect.
Oh, I believe that. Just getting outside.
Yeah, there's just something about connecting with the natural world that seems to calm us down, lift the spirits.
Totally. Even a quick walk in a park during lunch break can make a difference.
Definitely. And then, of course, exercise, physical activity. We know it releases endorphins, right? Those natural mood elevators.
Runner's high.
Yeah, exactly. But the source pointed out, you don't need to run a marathon. Even just a brisk walk gets those chemicals flowing and contributes to feeling better.
Okay, that's good news for those of us who aren't exactly hardcore athletes. Small, consistent effort counts.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Another key practice they brought up was mindfulness.
Right, we touched on that.
Yeah, consciously focusing your attention on the present moment, but without judging it, just observing. This helps cut down stress and boosts happiness by letting us be fully in what we're doing instead of being lost in worries about yesterday or anxieties about tomorrow.
So really being there when you're eating or talking to someone or just like walking down the street, it sounds simple, but wow, it can be hard to actually do consistently.
It really takes practice, no doubt. But the payoff, in terms of reduced stress and just feeling more present and content, can be huge. And finally, looping back, the source just kept emphasizing investing in relationships.
Back to connection.
Back to connection, making time, putting in the effort to connect with friends, family. That can be one of the most fulfilling and directly happiness-boosting things we do.
Absolutely. Nurturing those bonds feels so fundamental.
Okay, so wrapping things up, it really sounds like the big takeaway from this deep dive, pulling from that EDP discussion, is that the whole pursuit of happiness isn't some frantic race for, like, the corner office or the giant house.
Right.
It's maybe more subtle, more about cultivating joy in the everyday stuff, the small moments, building those strong, meaningful connections with people,
Yeah.
and finding a sense of purpose, whatever that looks like for you.
That sums it up beautifully. And the source also included a really vital reminder, I thought. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself.
Ah, yes.
Important. It's totally normal, totally human, not to be happy all the time. Happiness isn't some constant state we're supposed to achieve and maintain forever. It ebbs and flows naturally.
Mm-hmm.
The key, they suggested, is more about embracing that whole journey, the ups and the downs, with kindness toward yourself and finding contentment in the process, not just waiting for some perfect end result. That takes so much pressure off, doesn't it? Feeling like you have to be buzzing with joy 24/7. It's okay to just be okay or even have a bad day.
Exactly. Now, just to help cement some of these ideas, the source also quickly defined some of the key terms they used. Useful vocabulary.
Good idea. Let's hear them.
Okay. Contentment.
Yeah.
Basically, being satisfied and at peace with what you have.
Mm-hmm. Contentment.
Fulfillment. That deep satisfaction you get from achieving meaningful goals or like realizing your potential.
Fulfillment. Got it.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
That feeling of thankfulness, appreciating the good things, big or small.
Gratitude. Yep.
Mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
The practice of paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judging it.
And mindfulness. Okay.
And finally, hedonic. Just relating to pleasure or enjoyment, often the kind that's more immediate or short-lived.
Hedonic. Right. Those are really helpful anchors for thinking about all this. So to you, our listener, we really hope this deep dive into the pursuit of happiness has maybe sparked some useful thoughts, offered some valuable insights for your own journey.
Absolutely. And as you continue to navigate your own path towards, life that feels good and meaningful to you, maybe we can leave you with this thought to mull over. Considering everything we've talked about, that balance between hedonic fun and eudaimonic purpose, the power of internal peace versus external validation, the absolute necessity of connection, the strengths from gratitude and mindfulness, which of those aspects maybe resonates most strongly with you right now?
Ooh, good question.
And perhaps what's just one small concrete step you might consider taking, maybe today, maybe this week, just to cultivate that particular aspect a little bit more in your own life? Remember, as the source suggested, it really is a continuous journey, not some final destination. And we hope you find plenty of moments of both joy and meaning along your way.